This guy goes, yeah, I'm not going to unfollow her because I want to watch the wreckage. I'm going to get out a beer and a lawn chair and I'm going to watch the total destruction of Glennda Baker.
Oh my gosh.
Bitch, how are the seats from the cheap section of social media? My engagement from that post went up about 632%. 2 weeks later, over 6,000%.
Wow.
When you show all of the different layers of you, you really give people this very broad canvas to connect to you. You're a 57-year-old woman. They really want somebody younger. They really want a man.
Oh, this is a woman telling you this too?
Yes. I was on a podcast and I think she just kind of off the cuff asked me, are you a screamer?
We're going to have to put like a warning label on this episode. Today is our 200th episode of Not Nice Clever, and we have an incredibly special guest who Kat and I are so honored to sit down with for a full hour. Her name is Glennda Baker. You might know her as the queen of TikTok or the Michael Jordan of real estate. Either way, you are in for a treat. We talk about personal branding, how to deal with the haters. There's a point in this interview where I was blushing for sure. So you're definitely going to want to listen in on all of the greatness that is Glennda Baker. She's just such a gem, and we're so excited that we got to spend this time with her, and I think you will be too.
Here's where I want to start, Glennda, because I have admired and known you for so long. And even though I claim to be an expert in personal branding, and Candace does too, I'm never above learning. And so I want to know from you directly, personal branding, brand, how do you define it? How do you experience it? How do you understand it? Like, what's Glennda's definition of brand?
Probably for me, I'm looking to build a brand that's memorable, that is true to me. And what is really critical for me in my brand is that what you see online is exactly what you experience in person. And I think that that's where brands kind of miss the mark a lot of times, because you'll see something online and it's not consistent or cohesive with what you see in person or what you experience in person. And so for me, I really want to be able to make the brand not just visual, but tangible in a way that people feel it in the fiber of their body. And I feel like if you can take your brand from something that's just memorable to something that makes a moment, to me, that's a true brand.
I love that. Not just something like on paper, but like off paper that can be felt, that can't necessarily always be quantified. It's funny. I was in Dallas a couple weeks ago, and the moderator of this QA, after I spoke, asked me, they're like, who do you feel like embodies their brand? Who is very like not performative, right? Super authentic. And I had to like pause and think for a moment. Then I'm like, duh, Glennda. Like I feel like you've even just become more of you over the last couple years, like since you've really exploded online. Was that like hard for you to be transparent and like open, or has it always come naturally for you?
It was very hard for me not to be perfect, because I really bought into the post to be perfect. There was an agent, I'll never ever forget this. There was an agent that I met through the Tom Ferry coaching program, and she was from Boston. Mm-hmm. And she was everything that I wanted to be. Her hair was perfect. Her face was perfect. Her clothes were everything. Like, her pocketbook was the pocketbook that I wanted all of my life. Like, looking at her, she was like this picture perfect person that I wanted to be. And I had seen her from afar. All of my kind of theory of her was just from afar. And then I was so disappointed when I sat down with her, and she was not that person. Like, it was all smoke and mirrors. It was just it was so fake. And I was so disappointed. And in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, I never ever want somebody to meet me and have that experience. And so it really kind of showed me, like, firsthand how important it is to, rather than trying to be interesting, be interested in someone. And I think that moment in time, like, I remember where I was sitting in Palm Springs, and the light bulb moment went off that this woman is just trying to be interesting. She has absolutely no interest in me.
You know what's interesting about this story to me is that I'm sure there are people who are watching you right now, myself included, Glennda, who's like, Glennda is perfect. Her hair is perfect. Her tan is perfect. That bag she carries is gorgeous. Those star outfits are amazing. Like, come on. Like, people are absolutely thinking about you in that same way. Obviously, they have the added bonus of actually meeting you and realizing that that is you. And you probably have another ponytail girl story in your bag to throw at me to make me laugh in real life. Right. So it's just so interesting how we form those parasocial relationships online. And when it actually matches up in real life, that's where the magic happens.
And that's what I mean when I say, like you can feel it. Like, when I hug you, like, I want you to feel that you're my friend. I want you to know that whatever you told me in that brief moment that we met, that it meant something to me, that I actually listened, that I wasn't looking for the next most popular person, that I wasn't looking to have a conversation with somebody who was more important than you or more interesting than you. I want you to know, when I hug you, when I'm talking with you, that you are the center of my attention. And if I can convey that through video, if I can convey that through tangible touching you, that's what I want you to do. I want to see, touch, feel, smell. I want to be that kind of brand.
Note to all of you guys, take a shower and put some cologne perfume on before you meet Glennda Baker. She's smelling you.
Well, this is the thing. It's kind of funny.
Right.
So I wear this perfume from Abercrombie called Fierce, and it's a men's cologne.
Oh, I love
that. And I've worn it for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, since Lucas was like in elementary school. And it's so funny because I will never forget when Lucas's little friend goes, he ran up to me and he hugged me and he goes, I just love the way you smell, Miss Glennda. You smell like the mall. And I was like, oh my God, like that, like who doesn't remember walking through the mall in the early 2000s and smelling Abercrombie?
It's so funny that you mention that, because the perfume that I wear, that like my Abercrombie Fierce, is Clinique Happy. And yeah. And it's so funny that you're talking about the light bulb moment. We were sitting down with that agent. I remember the babysitter that we got when we were little, after like my grandpa had a hand in raising us. He lived with us, but after his health was failing, we brought on help, and she was in college. And I remember the first time, like, she came over and she interviewed with my mom and dad, and I gave her a hug, and she smelled like Clinique Happy. And I remember thinking, she's so cool. I want to be like her, because she was like from Hawaii. She had a K name just like I did, like all of our family. And now to this day, I still wear Clinique Happy.
Kat, I have to tell you, I got like this flurry of messages. And hey, you just got this shout out at 1000 Watt. Hey, this speaker shouted you out from 1000 Watt. And my friend Mary Maloney actually videotaped that segment.
I met Mary.
And I just want to tell you, like, I'm honored that you used me as an example. I don't think that people understand. Like, I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. 3 years ago, I sold a lot of houses, but everything has changed for me. And to be, spoken about with someone of your caliber And the way that you described me, I was so honored and so touched. And I was so happy that I had that moment in time to hear what you had to say firsthand. So I wanted just to say thank you so much. It touched my heart like you cannot believe.
I'm gonna cry now. Been a little emotional lately. Thank you. Like I feel like people think that we don't need that validation and that support and that love and that shout outs because we've made it or we have X amount of followers or we're on these stages. And I still get choked up when like our clients that Candace and I get to work with shout us out. And
or when my podcast host partner gets mentioned in Forbes casually.
right. Yes.
Kat was mentioned in Forbes.
It's still kind of surreal to me, like that, especially on the angle. It wasn't even about personal branding. It was about me being third culture and my immigrant background.
But that is about personal branding.
That's true. That's my brand story.
That's your brand story. Yeah.
But
so just incredible things.
I know. And like, honestly, Glennda, the thing that stands out for me the most is like that moment that I shared, like, cause I think I DM'd you privately. Like I don't struggle with certain things, but people I love do. And watching that and seeing you share that and own that was just, I mean, it's like as real as it gets. And it takes such courage because when you share things like that, I feel like it triggers other people and you can deal with haters and trolls as much as you have advocates. But, you know, we don't feed the animals at the zoo. But you're welcome. And it was easy to talk about you in that way.
Well, thank you so much. I read a quote that it said, surround yourself with people that talk nice about you in rooms that you're not in.
Oh, Candace loves
and
that.
When I saw that video, I was just like, those are my people right there. Thank you so much. So I really appreciate that. And, you know, I went through, I guess it's been a couple months ago now. Goodness gracious, May, June. Oh gosh. Yeah. About 2.5 months ago, I did a post and I had so much hate on this post that I did. And there's like 500 comments on this post, just hate. I mean, mean from other realtors.
Jeez.
And I mean, I just did not know what to do. I never ever experienced anything so personally directed. And my engagement from that post went up about 632%. You know, then I started posting Glennda's greatest hits because I was, to be honest with you, I was so whacked out. I was so upset. Yeah. Because people had been so mean to me that I just couldn't post anything but just the stuff that I knew worked. So I just started posting Glennda's greatest hits. And from the day that post went kind of viral with its 500 comments to 2 weeks later, my engagement went up over 6,000%.
Wow.
I guess it was like the best, worst thing that could have happened. It taught me a lot about the people that are in your circle aren't always in your corner. It taught me a lot about a lot of times the people that follow you are not really Glendaratis, but they're people wanting to watch you fail, wanting to watch you make a mistake, wanting to see you get off track. And that was such an eye-opening experience for me. Because, you know, I was living in this world where everybody loved me. Like, it never even occurred to me that I don't follow people that I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that energy around me. Right.
Certainly not commenting on their posts. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not like saying mean shit. And what blew my mind was like, do you not think that people that are hiring you are going to your social media and looking at what kind of person you are,
seeing you be ugly online.
And I just, it was so shocking to me. But I think that part of the draw for people to me is that I'm not perfect. I think that people are tired of that post to be perfect. They're tired of that scripted reality. People want to know that, you know, you're not perfect. I got a call from a production company today and they've been trying to get me to do a television show. And they said, the network really likes you, but you're, I just want to be honest with you. Like, you're a 57-year-old woman. They really want somebody younger. They really want a man. And I'm like, and she's like, don't you work with men or younger people? And I'm like,
oh, this is a woman telling you this too?
Yes.
Such a shame.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. What's so interesting to me is that and maybe it's just me, maybe it's the world I live in. I think that it is such an amazing opportunity right now to be a woman. And I think that like girl power is so strong. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know about you girls, but like for me, I love watching other women like just be a boss on television.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would love to see more of that. I don't need to see any more, young bucks, being, doing stuff like that. It was just kind of so weird to me. But I built my brand on being a 50-year-old woman in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm good with it.
Glennda, I pray that I look as damn good as you at 57. When you said that, I'm like, what? I'm like, I thought maybe you were in your 50s. Candace in my head is perpetually 35, and Glennda, you're like perpetually 45 in my head.
Good.
So that's just the mental age I have of both of you.
We'll keep it that way.
Yeah, literally.
I've got a lot of money invested in this space. My little grandson, he's like, Glitter, put on the goggles. I'm like, oh, sweet baby, I can't put on the goggles. I've got too much Botox in my face. And he goes, what's Botox, Glitter? I said, it's the thing that makes me look pretty. He goes, you are very pretty.
I love it. Okay, I want to talk about how you decide for yourself what you want to share and what you don't want to share. I was on a call today with 100 agents, and they were asking me, how do I know, Candace, what is too much to share online? What's too personal?
I don't always do a great job, but I look for 3 things. And when I am posting, I want to inspire, impact, and inform. Those are really like the 3, I guess they're called verbs that I want to do. Like I want somebody to be inspired. I want them to be impacted. I want them to be informed. And is the content that I'm posting doing that? And so even when it's personal, even like when it's about the ponytail girls, or even when it's about my grandkids or my kids or my family or my friends, what can somebody take away from this video is kind of how I think about it. But like I was on a podcast with my daughter, and something came up, and I think she just kind of off the cuff asked me like, are you a screamer? And I was like, well, if the person that you're with isn't making you scream, you're probably not with the right person. And so I didn't really think too much about it. And
we're going to have to put like a warning label on this episode.
Honestly, Candace, does that sound like something I would say? Because I totally would say that. I'm here for that.
What was so bad was...
Maybe not publicly. I love it though.
I've been seeing somebody.
Okay.
And his daughter follows me. His daughter actually followed me online before I knew him. And Victoria posted this clip and tagged me in this clip. And he is out to dinner with his daughter. And she's like, hey, I wanted to ask you a question because I heard on Glennda's podcast that she's a screamer. And he like spits out his drink across the bar. And I think to myself, like, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Getting embarrassed and sweaty for this situation right now.
It was horrible. I'm like, this is terrible. But so I don't think I should have shared that. I don't always make like a great decision. Sometimes I go a little bit too far, but in everything that I post, it's true. And then I got to thinking about it, and I thought to myself, how many women are really like shamed into that they shouldn't enjoy, their partner, that there is a should of conduct, and so I was just thinking to myself, like, like, why be embarrassed about stuff like that? Like, I really feel strongly. I was on a podcast with Dr. Sex Fairy, and we talked a little bit about women in their, 50s and how they're kind of like shamed about being sex positive. And so for me, I just want to, whatever I can do to inspire, impact, and inform people, that's what I'm going to talk about. And if I feel comfortable talking about it, then I'm going to talk about it. And if I don't, I'm not. And if you don't like it, there's this unfollow button or delete or block or whatever.
I think what people overlook, and maybe the agents that you were doing this webinar for earlier, Candace, is that the name of the game that we hear so much that people talk about, and don't get me wrong, I support it too, is the idea of being consistent. So like, Glennda, you've got your framework: inspire, impact, inform, which I love. But then I think that people undervalue being potent in their content too. And the potency doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it's memorable. Sometimes people spit their dinner out, unexpected conversation, but I think a mix of that is the best. And so, even if you get it wrong, it's still, you can still tweak and iterate on that and maybe just have it in mind for the next time.
I just think that it goes back to authenticity. If it's a conversation that you would have with a group of girlfriends, it might be something you should consider sharing online, because there's people just like your girlfriends on the other side of that screen.
And they also want to buy houses and build wealth and make decisions like men do. So why not open that conversation?
I put my stuff in buckets. What would I tell my best friend about real estate? What would I tell my best client about real estate? What would I tell my therapist about real estate?
Ooh.
And for me, those are kind of like the buckets of how I create content. And when I'm creating content, I am like, I look away from the camera. Like, my deal is like, I want to be talking to someone. I'm great in conversation. And so that's why I look off camera to do my videos, because I've got somebody sitting there in the chair that I'm actually able to talk to. And so that helps. It helps me create. It helps me be creative.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of real estate agents, especially, they think everything is so second nature to them. They think that what they do, everybody knows what it is. And they don't find it interesting because they do it every day. And what I think a lot of real estate agents don't understand is, like, just listed and just sold is once upon a time and the end. And where the magic happens is in the story in the middle.
Ooh.
And what happens is like, it's not just a story about Bobby and Susie. It's a story about Bobby and Susie, but it's also a story about every house that you show them, every interaction that you have with them. And why did they pick 123 Banana Street? And why didn't they pick 127 Banana Street? And what was it about that house? And what was the story of the house? What was the story of each house that you showed them? And what was it that was crazy that happened? I mean, you think about, I showed Trish this house and the guy opens the door naked. I mean, that's the meat in the middle.
That's the plot twist. That's the exit stage left. What's going on here?
I'm hilarious. Sorry about that.
I cannot.
But no,
love it.
I mean, like,
I love it. I'm here
when
for
I
it.
sold the wrong house, like, even like, I had some agents come to Atlanta to meet with me, and we went to this show house, and I drove them by the wrong house. And they're like, oh my, like, they could, like, we drove the route that I drove with that guy. And so, like, to me, it's just there's so much you can talk about in real estate. It's not just about the NAR settlement and the buyer broker commission. Like everybody's got to take on that. How is that impacting Bobby and Susie? How is it impacting your ability to provide for your family? Like get to the heart of the story. Speak from your heart and get to the heart of the story, because that is where the magic happens.
Amen.
Why do you think agents are not doing that?
They don't think they're good on video. They don't think that anybody wants to hear what they have to say. They don't think about The fact that they couldn't get the lockbox open because it was a combination lockbox from 1987 is a story. They don't think about walking in and there's no electricity, there's no plumbing, there's no light fixtures. They don't think that's a story. They don't think that the fact that the house faces west and the front door was 157 degrees when they went to open it is a story. And so that it is in those moments, the sequence of events, the series of events that the story is created. And that's what I want people to understand. Part of brand is the brand story.
Oh, yeah.
And everything that happens is part of your brand story. I have my tagline, registered trademark tagline is, we provide the backdrop, you create the memories. Because every picture in their home, think about the father-daughter dance and the picture in front of the mantle, the picture on the stairs, the picture on the front porch.
On their nightstands. Yeah.
All of that is a story. And so it was when I kind of created that line, we provide the backdrop, you create the memories, I was like, okay, there's a story behind every single picture that my clients are posting in the homes that I'm selling them. And that's what I go back to is, what was the story of Bobby and Susie? And what was the story of 123 Banana Street?
Our friend Chelsea Pite, she always teaches that there's magic in the mundane.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's so true. The things that you think are mundane are points of connection for you and your audience. And if you could just have the courage to put those things out there, even if they seem boring or awkward, or it doesn't feel like it's the thing that's going to help you sell a house, you might be surprised that it helps you start conversations, and conversations will lead to more sales.
100%. And it makes you relatable. So for me, I am relatable, reliable, relevant, and real. And those are the things that I want people to see. I'm also raw and refreshing. And so it gives me this very large base for people to relate to. And, I think about this lady who called me from Nashville. She's got a home here in Atlanta, Georgia. She called me because she saw my tennis video. She is me. She is one of those ladies that's been tugged around like a rag doll by the ponytail girls. And she loved the fact that I was not going to let anybody push me around. She loved the fact that I got right back in their face. And she was like, this is the woman I want to be my real estate agent. And so I think that when you show all these different facets of your personality, when you show all of the different layers of you, you really give people this very broad canvas to connect to you. And I think that if you're not showing different aspects of you, different parts of you, if you're just trying to appeal to the masses, how many people are you really missing connecting with on a different level?
Amen. Every word of it. I like everything that we preach, like, clients will want the followers and the business and the listings and the buyers, and they don't understand, like, business 101, 2 by 2, you build a multi-million-dollar business. You don't build it from 0 to $1 million overnight.
Yeah.
One person, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, and that stacks over time.
I just think about all of the people that I've gotten to work with, and how each one floated in my life, and like where they came from. One of the questions that I always ask is, what triggered your phone call to me today? What was it?
What was the thing? Yeah.
I want to be able to identify it. And I remember Joel, who called me from TikTok, and I'm on the phone with him. It's our first phone call. And I'm like, what was it that triggered your phone call to me today? Oh, well, I saw your video on TikTok. I follow you on TikTok. Now, I don't know him from Adam's House Cat. He lives in a product that I don't really sell, in an area that I don't really sell. Yeah. He lives vertical. He lives midtown, which that's not my bread and butter.
Right.
And I go on the listing appointment and I said, so you told me that you found me on TikTok. Was there like a particular video that that really resonated with you? And he goes, yeah, the video where you went on the listing presentation and and the guy asked you how much you thought his house, you asked the guy how much he thought his house was worth. He wouldn't tell you. Then when you gave him a price, he threw you out. He goes, I realized at that point, if I wanted to sell my house for the most money in the least time, I needed to list my house with you and I needed to listen to you. Because that guy, I asked him, here's some guy, Fortune 500 company, senior vice president, Mr. Senior Vice President, how much do you think your house is worth? I have no idea. Oh, wow. I've sat in 152 living rooms over the last 2 years. And I got to tell you, I haven't sat down with anybody who didn't have any idea what their house was worth. Nope, don't have any idea. I think your house is worth $1.3 million. Oh, actually, my house is worth $1.65 million. I'm like, but I thought you didn't have any idea what your house was worth. And he's like, yeah, you can leave now. And literally throws me out. He lists his house with somebody else for $1.65 million to $1.45 million to $1.35 million. The house sells for $1.202 million. And it takes him 6 months to sell the house, where if he'd listed it where I told him to list it, he would have gotten more money in less time. And I tell that story on video. And that's the thing, Candace, it goes back to your question, like why do agents not talk about that stuff? Because they don't think anything about that. They don't know that, they don't think that there's a story there. And there is a story there. You want to start, when you're telling the story, you want to start with, what was the problem? And then how did you solve it?
That's everything.
So you got to come up with, what's the problem? How'd you solve it? And what was the result once you solved it? And so if you use those 3 elements when you're telling the story, like, it's a home run.
You're positioning yourself as the expert, demonstrating your experience, like you are the authority. Yeah, pre-educating. I love that so much. And I think people are also afraid to tell a story like that, especially in the beginning when you're kind of challenging him on not putting the price out, because they think that might come off as mean, when really it comes off as authoritative and direct. And if I'm working with an agent, I want someone who's going to go to bat for me in that manner. And people are just so afraid of being seen as, especially women, aggressive.
Nobody hires me because I'm passive. Nobody hires a passive real estate agent. Nobody wants you to sit there and just, I hope your house sells. Like, you want me to go to battle for you every single day, whether it's on pricing strategy or staging strategy or feedback or negotiation. You want me to be on the battlefield for you. Like, and this is the thing, is like, I don't have any second thought about telling that story. To be honest with you, I was so angry when I left there because that man threw me out and wasted my damn time and didn't listen to me and lied to me to my face.
Right. That whole bait and I don't like that. But...
Yeah. And so this is the thing, is like part of me was like, what if I see these people? Cause like literally they live like 2 neighborhoods away.
Yeah.
Like, what if I see them? And I'm like, but you were a complete and total asshole. Like, why do I feel bad? You're the one who was the asshole. And, this is the thing, is like, sometimes I typically try and keep all of my stories like super positive. Like, this was the problem. This is how I fixed it. This is what the result was. And I try and keep it like that. But what I want people to understand is that every transaction isn't easy. And that's where agents make a mistake, is that they post on their social media that they sold 123 Banana Street in 4 hours, $400,000 over the list price, and they had 40 offers. And every single person who sees that says they listed it too low. It took them 4 hours to sell it. They got paid too much. You never ever talk about what you did to get it ready. You never ever talk about the pricing strategy that you used. You never ever talk about, because you priced it like that, you got $40,000 more than every other home sold in that neighborhood. And so that's what makes me crazy, is like, you're missing the opportunity not only to tell the amazing story of your clients of 123 Banana Street, but you're missing the opportunity to show the consumer your actual value. And that is what makes my head spin around and snot fly out of my nose.
I could see it. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to, I'm like, let me get out of my chair. Let me go get my license right now. No, I was listening to a podcast from one of my coaches, and she was like, people value a lot of different things, right? They value avoiding pain. They value saving money. But the one thing they value above all else, except for maybe like avoiding life or death situations, is their time. And if you can show that TikTok, Joe from TikTok was like, oh, Glennda's going to save me 6 months of time. Cool. I don't really care what her commission is. I don't really know about this in our lawsuit, but if I can just hand it over to her and she saves me 6 months of time and I sell for above market, cool. Done. Where do I sign? Right? It's a no-brainer.
It's literally, and that's the thing, is agents, it's so funny. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, well, I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. And he goes, oh, that's right. You're the Michael Jordan of real estate.
There we go.
If you say it enough.
I'll start describing you like that, by the way, at the next conference, the next summit. I'll be like, she's the most recognized voice and face in real estate, and also the MJ.
I was talking to a client today, and he goes, do you know how known you are? And I'm like, excuse me? Now, keep in mind, I've never met this man. He is a referral from my best friend from 3rd grade.
Oh.
And I'm like, no. He's like, well, we told the agent down here in Savannah that you were our real estate agent in Atlanta, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, oh my gosh, how did you get Glennda Baker to be your real estate agent?
You work with the Glennda Baker?
And I'm like, oh my God, seriously? He's like, I think they're going to call you.
I love it.
So it's awesome. I mean, it's great because like, it's going to get that guy's offer accepted, because the listing agent knows me, his agent knows me, and they know that I'm going to get his house sold.
One thing that annoys the shit out of me is when agents are like, Candace, I don't want to post another video. Only agents follow me. I'm like, great. Do you know you have a competitive edge when all the other agents know who you are? When they see your name on that offer, they're like, let's figure this out, Glennda. Like, we're on the same team now,
It's so crazy. Do you know what? Somebody said to me, they're like, you know what? Agents are following you. You should block all of those agents that are following you, because they are going to steal your videos. And at first, and you got to keep in mind, like, y'all, I'm a real estate agent. Like, I don't know anything about social media. I don't know anything about videos. I've got 122 followers. The mere thought that I would like block somebody, I was like, oh, that'd be 121. Oh, that'd be 120. Like, this is really a bad idea, right? And so this guy goes, he's like, Glennda, he's like, you've got all these agents following you. You need to block them. And I'm like, and then I thought about it, and I slept on it. Because whenever I'm not really clear about something, I usually try and sleep on it. I don't make a quick decision. Mm-hmm. And so I woke up the next day and I was like, no, I think it's okay that all these real estate agents are following me. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I want you to know that my agent to agent referral business is off the chart. I received and sent out more agent to agent referrals than any other agent in my company.
Wow, that's incredible.
So it's awesome.
It's amazing. Okay, I have a question for you. Shifting gears here. Today, as an entrepreneur, how do you define success that might be different than how you previously defined success?
Freedom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for me to answer that. Used to, when I first started in real estate, success to me was about money. It was about how many transactions. Oh my God. I pissed away so much money cooking the books, trying to looking successful, buying the business where literally my profit margin was like 8%, like eight, like a single digit. then I was like, wait a minute. I'm working my brains out, but I'm spending all this money and I just don't have a whole lot left.
Mm-hmm.
And then what really kind of changed for me was in 2017, I went to go see Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. And I remember I was there 4 days with my son, Lucas, who at the time was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And at the end of the 4 days, and my son's very tall, he puts his arms around me and he hugs me, and my head is right on his chest. And I can hear his heartbeat. And he says to me, he goes, I'm never going to forget these 4 days with you. And I remember in that moment in time, I said to myself, I want more of this. Like, how do I string together these moments in time? And that was when I realized that success wasn't built on how many houses I sold or, how many people I met. That success really was about creating these moments of a lifetime. And it was really in 2017 that I changed my vision of what success was and what I was trying to accomplish in my life.
Freedom, I align with that. I know Candace does too. We are building our businesses in ways where we can choose to do active consulting, active speaking, active workshops, but also have passive ways of generating income, just like you have your agent to agent referral business, which is beautifully passive and massive as well, because money used to be the means to the end, but now it's the end in and of itself is not that. The money's just the vehicle. It's just the way you get there, but you got to know where you're going, where you want to go.
Exactly. I mean, you can have a full tank of gas and still arrive at the wrong place.
It's a great analogy.
I want to make sure that where I arrive is exactly where I want to go. And I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it with the people I want to do it with. I don't ever in my life want to be at the mercy of what someone else wants. And I've set my business and my life up so that I am in total control of it.
So that your kids and grandkids can interrupt your podcast recordings doing cannonballs into your brand new pool, which we love them for that because it's summer. We can't be upset about that.
Well, that pool that's my influencer pool.
Oh.
So all of the money that I have made online, so not agent to agent referrals and not buyers and sellers, all of those people are in my real estate account. But any money that I made from collaborations or speaking went into a separate account. And I said to myself, when I get to this number, I'm going to do a pool. And I told my kids, if I ever get to this number, I'm going to put a pool in the backyard for us. And sure enough, I got there, and I got there last year. And a year later, that swimming pool came to fruition.
I love that so much. So cool.
Yeah. And Denver asked me, how's the pool? And I had actually recorded with him like 3 or 4 days after it opened.
Okay.
And I said to him, if I had only had one day to see my kids and my grandkids, it was worth every penny. If I had only lived one day to see them do it. And I just think to myself, like, that is like success. That's a successful life. That is
a rich life.
Yeah. That's just, I just feel so full and so blessed and just so filled up with just like love. And so all those agents that hated on me, I blocked and deleted them.
Thank you for your engagement spike. Now, goodbye.
It was so crazy. There was this one girl, this guy posts on his Facebook page. He's like, oh, if you ever want to figure out how to lose real estate agents from following you, endorse a company that all real estate agents hate. This girl posts on there. I just want to know two things: how many followers she lost and how much money they paid her. And this guy goes, yeah, I'm not going to unfollow her because I want to watch the wreckage. And she comments back and she goes, yeah, I'm a good Midwesterner. I'm going to get out a beer and a lawn chair and I'm going to watch the total destruction of Glennda Baker.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, bitch, how are the seats from the cheap section of social media?
Also, like, how miserable must your own life be that you can't even look at your own life? You have to rubberneck on somebody else's.
Like, go sell a house in Kansas, honey. Like, I was just like, what? I kind of like lived through rose colored glasses. Like, what's not to love about me? But I know everybody doesn't love Glennda.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing. And some people are so afraid of that one exchange that they never make a video, which is insane to me.
You're going to live your life on the projected hatred and insecurities and incompetencies of other people that have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Glennda,
that you've never even met. Like
Right.
that you don't even know. It's just, it always cracks me up. But this is the thing is like, if you're going to be, if you want to be on social media, you can't have thin skin.
Yeah.
My hair wasn't right. I have this big ass accent. And oh no, I needed some more Botox that day, or I hadn't gotten my nails done
That day.
And if you wait for everything to be perfect, you're never making a video. You're just not. You're just never ever making a video. So for me, I did live video. That was kind of how I cut my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember
Same for me and Candace. We did live challenges.
Yeah.
Candace went live for 6 months straight. I did like spurts of 30-day challenges. But that's how we honed our craft and got better and just ripped the Band-Aid off.
And you have to do that. And people, they're like, oh no, I don't want to do that because what if I say something wrong? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
It's going to happen.
Not going to remember.
Nobody dies because you said something wrong. Like, and probably they don't even remember it.
Right.
And at that time I had like 4 people watching my live video and it was so funny. I remember when I would have like 12 people watch my story. And I was like, oh gosh, 12 people watched it. This is so great.
So we're in double digits now. Yeah.
Yeah.
No start somewhere. Yeah.
8% profit to 12 story viewers to now like you're being shouted out and buying pools with collaboration income. Like
it's crazy. But you don't have to have a zillion followers to be successful on social media. And I hope that agents understand that. My girlfriend posted a house that she was going to put on the market. And she posted it on Facebook because she's 70 years old. And I think she has maybe 300 friends on Facebook. And I saw that house and I called her and I'm like, hey, I want to buy that house at 123 Banana Street. And she's like, okay, I'm going to put it on the market Saturday. And I'm like, okay, super. I went and looked at it and I bought it. And so you think about like she has 300 friends. Like how successful is posting on social media going to be for her? Well, it was super successful for her. It was more successful than the MLS.
Amazing.
Glennda, this is probably arguably my favorite part of any time we have a lovely guest in our digital house. It is our rapid fire segment.
Okay, awesome. I promise I'm going to be rapid.
I feel like you're going to set a new standard for rapid. Okay, so here we go. No wrong answers. We're all besties here. First thing that comes to mind, what was one of your childhood nicknames?
Pumpkin.
Me too.
Oh, that's adorable. Okay. What is your go-to lazy dinner when you've just had a day?
Pizza Hut Pan Supreme.
Oh my God, you and Will both. He gets upset if I don't order the Pan Supreme. Okay, I love it. All right. Takis or hot Cheetos?
Neither. I'm not eating that shit.
You're not eating that shit. Okay, perfect. We won't tell you what our answers were then. What is the best non-curse word, one word insult?
Yeah, I talk a lot, so one word is super difficult for me. So
do you have a phrase?
My phrase is shut the fuck up. But I mean, or get the fuck out. I mean, my phrase is probably, and those both have bad words.
Yeah.
Probably when I'm being like super nice, nasty, it's like, really? Okay.
Do you do a Southern bless your heart?
No, I just tell them to shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Okay.
I love it.
This is the deal. It's like, if you're stupid, I'm going to tell you. And it's funny because Elizabeth, who's been with me 23 years today, she said, do you think that we should tell, Betsy about this new listing because she may have somebody, should we tell her about it new? And I said, no, you shouldn't tell her about it first because then she would have insider information. She could tell everybody that she had insider information. She's not going to do anything to help us or our client. Let her find out when everybody else finds out. I said, plus she was nasty to us. And Elizabeth says to me, she goes, when you are done with somebody, you are done with them. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't need to have that negativity in my life.
Are you a Scorpio like me or no?
No, I'm a Sagittarius.
She's fiery Sagittarius.
I'm a Sagittarius. And I love you until I don't. And when I don't, I don't.
I love my Sagittarius women. They're so light switch like that. I'm the same. Okay. Next question in rapid fire. Who is your celebrity crush? Is this going to get you in trouble?
I listen to these smut romance.
Ooh.
Right now, my celebrity crush is Byron Crown.
Okay.
And I may not, it was the Everest brothers, it was the Arrowhead brothers, but Byron Crown or Barrett Landry might be. Oh, they're not celebrities. Those are fictional crushes. Oh, okay.
Well, they're both celebrities.
Okay. So, I don't really know if I have a celebrity crush because most actors are short and I just wouldn't have a crush on anybody I could break.
An athlete, I think we'll take that.
Oh my God.
Start the list.
Atlanta, Georgia, please tell us. Yeah. Athlete crush.
Probably. Yeah, I can't say him.
Oh, that's where she draws the line, y'all.
No, I'm gonna pass on that one. I want to plead the fifth.
Okay.
Because I know him, and if he heard this, he would be like, "Oh my God."
Okay,
I'm texting you after this. We need to know.
Yeah, I know. Group text. Okay. Last thing you bought online?
Pillows.
There we go.
No, I bought pillows for my rental houses because my housekeeper told me that the pillows looked yucky. So I have a couple of Airbnbs and I keep them in a standard where I would want to stay in them.
Yeah, naturally.
And so I ordered pillows, but probably the funnest thing that I just ordered online, it's not the last thing, but it's definitely one of my favorites, is I ordered this Yves Saint Laurent shoulder bag that has rhinestone stars.
Oh my gosh. We can't wait to see it in all its glory.
Y'all, it is so fabulous. I love it so much. I would wear it every day, but it's not like an everyday bag.
It's a little bit much. I think you could pull it off every day, Glennda. I think it would work for you.
I know, but it really is. It's really very special. It's just such a beautiful bag. I was in Capri many years ago, in Capri, Italy.
I was there last summer
with my ex-husband. There are some cities that Louis Vuitton has a city bag. So Milan and Capri and Paris, a lot of different cities. And so, but you can only buy it at the store. It's not available online. And I wanted this bag worse than I wanted to take my next breath. And it was $1,500. And my ex-husband was like, you are not buying that bag. And I was like, no. I really want this bag. This is my favorite place in the world. I really want this bag. And he's like, if you buy everything that you want when you want it, I don't have anything to get you for your birthday or Christmas. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, no problem then. So, but they don't sell it except in the store. And he's like, well, don't you worry about that. So I'm thinking he's going to sneak back or send somebody from the hotel to get it. I don't really
save it until December. Yeah.
He was never going to get me that bag. Never.
And that's why he's her ex-husband.
And he never ever got me that bag. And so, no lie, I was going through this divorce, and we're fighting over every single penny.
Yeah.
And he wants to keep my golf cart, and he wants to keep my Adirondack chairs. And you're not allowed to spend any money. And I found this Capri Louis Vuitton limited edition bag, and I bought it. And so I think to myself, oh, you don't think you bought it, but you actually did because I spent the marital assets to get that pocketbook. So, no, that sounds terrible, but that was kind of fun too. All right. That was not a rapid
Oh my
response,
gosh.
but go
That's
ahead.
all right. No, that was Glennda response, which we love.
Yeah.
Okay, last two questions. One, Candace has very much an obsession of being at the airport. She is always on the go. So my question for you is, Glennda, when you travel, are you a 2 hours before boarding or 2 minutes before
2
boarding
hours.
type of gal? Thank the Lord.
I leave my house 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yep.
I give myself 45 minutes to get to the airport. And I have my own sky cabs at Delta Sky Priority, Harold and Wallace. They are ready for me. If it's the weekend, it's Brian. I have my own digital ID lady that I go through the line. I have my own way to like unpack and put everything in my bucket. I get to the other side. The other day I made it from my house, the front door of my house, to the Sky Club in 44 minutes. So all the way, bag check, through security, into the Sky Club in 44 minutes.
I have to say, I am enjoying a little bit of lounge life lately, which is an incentive of getting to the airport
And
a
not
little
just
bit
having
earlier.
them do Miss Carciopolo, last call, boarding doors close in 60 seconds. Okay, last question. I am secretly a comic book and superhero nerd. So if you, Marvel, DC, just truly, it's what I grew up on. I didn't read the romance novels when I was a teenager, but huge into graphic novels and comics. So if you, well, you already are a superhero, in my opinion, and Candace's, but if you were a real life comic book superhero, what superpower would you want to have?
Oh, what superpower would I want to have? Man, I want everybody to feel love and be happy. If I could do any one thing in the whole world, that just with the people that I touch, that I change their life, that I make them better, I make them feel better, I make them a better person. And I think that there isn't any better superpower than somebody who makes another person feel loved and heard.
That's probably the best answer that we've had yet.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm so blessed. I'm so very, very, very blessed. And I just think to myself, like what if there was any one thing that I could have in my whole life, it would just be that I always feel love and I always feel heard.
Every human wants to feel seen, heard, and valued. That's
it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Seen, heard, and valued. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Glennda, where can the people find and hang out with you?
You can find and hang out with me wherever is most comfortable for you. Like Google Glennda. Like literally, if you just put my name in Google, if you are on Instagram or Facebook or Threads or X or TikTok, literally it's just Glennda Baker. And there are lots of clones, but there's only one Glennda Baker, and it's GLENNDABAKER, all together everywhere.
This is so fun. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. You're incredible. You're going to be our 200th episode, and you're going to get an email before the episode goes live, so you'll know that it's live, and we'll send some social assets as well. So we're so excited to have you. Thanks.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm so honored, and I'm so impressed by both of you. It's so cool to hang out with people that from their core are just doing everything they can to make people better. And so it's so cool to get to hang out with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Hope
to see you in person sometime soon.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.